I wanted to ask you, your first article you wrote when? In February of 39?
I'm going to offer you a lens.
How old were you?
Through which
10 years old. So I want to go back.
Will be revealed a pattern that once you see it, you can't unsee it. About the progressive movement that I was a proud member of for so much of my adult life. I'm going to use our district, the 3rd District of Pennsylvania, as the test case. PA State Representative Chris Rabb has the Congressional Progressive Caucus. AOC came and rallied with him. DSA endorsed him. And Hasan Piker rallied with him as well. Now, in case you're like the 80% of Americans who don't know who Hasan Piker is, I kind of hate you because I envy you so much. But here's a taste of some of his content.
Because I'm fucking salt of the earth, okay? Shut the fuck up. Suck my dick, okay? Fuck you.
We gotta figure it out. It doesn't matter to me. I'm rich, okay?
Kill those motherfuckers and murder those motherfuckers in the street. Any other black folk want to engage in radical activist language in this fucking chat? Suck my fucking cock, okay? Obviously, I'm anti-NATO. What do you call Crimea? I call it a part of Russian territory, bitch. I call it Crimea River, a Russian river. Doesn't matter if fucking happened on October 7th. Like, that doesn't change the dynamic for me even this much.
Now, Hasan stands are going to push back and say that all that was taken out of context, but I can assure you that even though you don't know who I am, and I'm not as hot in any way, I'm like a 3 and he's a 10 clearly, he's like an 11, a 12.
Why are you so buff? Is it necessary?
What? I don't know. I like working out.
You will not find me on camera saying any of that stuff.
I'm being a total misogynist, but I'm being honest.
That I'm sure I was just taking out of context.
Old enough to count, old enough to mount, question mark?
And poisoning the brains of millions of young men with any of that garbage that he said.
I don't give a fuck what black people care about.
But I'm sure in the proper context, all of it will check out. But
go post a fucking clip about how much of a fucking white supremacist I am. Suck my d.
I don't know. It's probably because I just need to touch grass. I'm probably just some kind of buzzkill, genocide-loving Zionist or something for thinking that any of that is problematic. Because look, I mean, AOC gave him a big hug after he said all of it and never apologized or just excused himself from all of it by saying anybody who questions any of it is just a shit lib and is operating in bad faith and taking things out of context. But this is all a digression since we're talking about Philadelphia. Y'all know who John Fetterman is, right? Here's AOC's Instagram post backing John Fetterman 4 years ago. And here's AOC celebrating Fetterman's win on Twitter. And you see, that all makes sense, given Bernie's endorsement of Fetterman, which followed from...
Tulsi is a good friend of mine.
Bernie's endorsement of Tulsi Gabbard, and continues today with Bernie's endorsement of Maine's Senate candidate for the Democrats, Graham Plattner, who claims he's going to be a very different kind of white progressive populist than the white progressive populist Fetterman campaigned as 4 years ago. Plattner claims he's no longer the guy he was 18 years ago when he got that Nazi chest tattoo and then had it removed right around the time he was endorsed by Bernie's magic wand. But I digress. This is about the 2026 race for the House in District 3.
He's Rep Rabb.
Representative Rabb.
He will always be Rep Rabb. 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 Rep Rabb.
Rep Rabb.
Rep Rabb. Rep Rabb.
Rep Rabb's most politically accomplished challenger in this four-way race is Pennsylvania State Senator Sharif Street. And going back to Fetterman, Street ran against Fetterman for the Senate seat Bernie and AOC helped Fetterman ultimately win. Could there be a clearer judgment contrast? If we should learn anything from the Fetterman case or the Kyrsten Sinema case before him or the Tulsi Gabbard case before them, politics is not about saying the right thing in a rally speech with Bernie Sanders beside you, right? Fetterman, Sinema, who started out in the Green Party, remember, and Tulsi Gabbard all had the same progressive populist talking points back when they were Bernie-loving leftists. Politics is about foresight. And I say this as a former major AOC fanboy. I went to her town halls. I lived near her district. The documentary about her knocked down the House convinced me to join DSA. I did mutual aid food drives in Queens during the pandemic. But when I started asking serious questions about DSA's positions on authoritarian regimes from Venezuela to China, or about their position on NATO, which was very similar to Russia's, or the organization's seeming indifference to black leaders in the Democratic Party, the majority of the Congressional Black Caucus, I found no infrastructure for any honest debate about any of that. And then when I moved to Philadelphia, I started listening to Black Talk Radio, WURD and Reverend Al Sharpton, started hearing the Congressional Black Caucus. And I realized that the CBC tradition, not the online progressive caucus performance machine, has often been the real conscience of the Democratic Party. And that changed how I see this race. When I invited the major Pennsylvania 3 candidates to sit down for an interview as a local constituent building pro-democracy media, Senator Street said yes instantly. And while it was amazing and shocking, and I was very grateful that he agreed to do an interview, should it be that shocking? Should it be that rare? I mean, who should our representatives' priorities be? National millionaire influencers with massive platforms, be they politicians from New York or streamers from Los Angeles, or constituents actively building independent pro-democracy media in the district that candidate wants to represent in Congress? I mean, hopefully the answer is obvious to anybody who takes seriously the rhetoric of the progressive movement, that building local community is paramount and primary, and that politicians must be accountable, to quote Rep. Rabb himself, to the people, right? Isn't it ironic how these anti-capitalist progressives are all so great at marketing and advertising the lifestyle, but so often fail to deliver and so regularly end up being the biggest betrayers of the movement? Rep. Rabb's campaign has convinced so many here in Philly that he's the working class candidate because he uses that phrase, working class, all the time. But how many actual Philadelphia labor unions are standing with Rep. Rabb? Here's the list. Undeniable progressive star power here. Everything from DSA to Philly DSA, from AOC to Summer Lee. You'd be forgiven if you almost lose sight of the fact that, oh, there's only one labor union listed here at the bottom here. Here's a graphic from 2 weeks ago showing every local labor union who's endorsed Senator Street. Today it's over 30 labor union endorsements for the establishment black Muslim candidate. The rabble-rouser has convinced one union to back his campaign. And Dr. Ayla Stanford, who's also in the race, has 0 labor unions supporting her. So do you see the difference? So if Working Families Party and DSA claim to fight for the working class, and both agree labor unions are worker power, then what explains their support for Chris Rabb, the candidate with only 1 union endorsement, over Sharif Street, the candidate with over 30 union endorsements? Oh, I know. Perhaps it's because Chris Rabb is marketing himself as the only anti-genocide candidate in the race here in the 3rd District of Philadelphia. Not because any of his Democratic primary challengers are pro-genocide, of course, but because accusing anyone of genocide makes pursuit of democratic dialogue impossible. Now, we attended Rep. Rabb's rally with Piker in West Philly a day after Senator Street's meet and greet in South Philly. And the contrast was stark. Rep. Rabb's rally was 80% white, 90% under 40. There was no meeting and greeting with the throng of white kids gathered to support his campaign, just yelling from the stage into a bullhorn as an opening act, basically, for Hasan Piker, who the kids received as a rock star. And, of course, his ego just exploded. He loved it.
I've never used one of these before, so bear with me, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out, and thank you, Chris Rabb.
He's Rep Rabb. Rep Rabb. Rep Rabb. Red Rabb. Rep Rabb. Red Rabb.
Rep Rabb.
Red Rabb. Rep Rabb. Red Rabb.
Street's meet and greet the night before was 80% black, 70% over 35, and he was flanked by Jewish lesbian council member at large Rue Landau and Italian council member Mark Squilla. No rock star, too cool for the room energy there at all. Street's speech was barely 5 minutes because he spent the entire time actually meeting and hearing from constituents. So it was a night and day difference between the performative politics of Rep Rabb and the substantive politics of Senator Street. So in conclusion, for District 3, we voted for Senator Sharif Street not only because of his proven track record, successfully suing Donald Trump's war on Pennsylvania's democracy 13 times or so, but because of his fearless willingness as a black Muslim politician to call out what no other Muslims or Christians currently in Congress have the bravery to do.
There's some in our party that don't want to address the anti-Semitism on the left, but when we do that, we compromise black people's safety as well.
Which is the rising anti-Semitism among the far left. And his clear reminder to black America that anti-Semitism is directly related to and connected to anti-black racism. That the white nationalists or Arab Islamists who target synagogues also hate black people. So
blacks and Jews were able to come together.
That's why we chose Sharif Street. That's why we hope you do too. And if you want to watch more pro-Black Jewish Alliance media, please consider giving us a follow. You know, I consider it my duty as an anti-fascist white Gentile to protect both communities that my great-granddaddy in the Klan saw as the greatest threats to white supremacy, which is black and Jewish power. So I'm all about both, and I'm all about white people, Gentiles like me, standing up for black and Jewish communities who have been the target of the worst of people lacking melanin, such as my family tree. So yeah, if you're into that kind of thing, if you're a true anti-fascist who understands the connection between protecting black people and protecting Jewish people and allowing each to live in pride and power, then yeah, do consider following us. And if you're against that concept, I am always open to good faith criticism, not populist grievance porn, but actual good faith engagement. Please feel free to criticize anything you want to here, as long as it's done respectfully. Criticism of me that comes from a good place has always made me a better person for the most part. So I welcome it, and I'll see you next time if you choose to follow me and see what I'm doing. And by the way, I will follow you back if you're a righteous person. Unlike a lot of creators these days, I actually am not here to smell my own farts and stoke my own greatness. I want to find others doing similar work and do everything I can to boost and promote you, because I think there needs to be a lot more of that in social media. So if you're interested in that, you know, there's that as well. So, you know, okay, cool.